I'm doing this again. What time is it? 3:06 is. Nope, it just started. Okay. Okay, that's the time. 3:06 p.m. Your favorite time of the day. What? No. That's the time of day right now. Or you just simply not resist giving me the correct time again. Yeah, I do. I like making things accurate. It's very accurate. It is 6:03 right now. I can just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to grab their new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. Let me whip up a couple new ones. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. What are the other trophies that I do not have yet? Okay, hold on. Test trophy, please ignore. Commitment. Play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. Settings world champion. No, I've done that. Okay, super go outside and commitment. Oh, and test trophy. Blah 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 blah. So the test trophy one is extremely easy. I just have to get all the figurines, blah 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 blah, and then go back to the test trophy and then do what I think. But commitment, that's gonna have to take another day, and super go outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. I'm wondering if I can just defeat the purpose by just setting my date and time to 10 years, like, ahead. So, after I complete the test trophy, I'm gonna try that. And then I'll see what I can do with the last one. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Yada 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 yada
All
yada.
of his co-workers were gone.
Oh.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No. New content. Now that is what I'm talking about.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Pretty sure I know where all the figurines are. But okay, yada 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 yada. I still want to check out everything in the new content. Or the Stanley Parable
Stanley,
2.
I've been reflecting on the
Actually, controls, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna switch it to 50.
This is the story of a man.
Invert Y?
Stanley Parable.
Oh, that's weird. No. Adjust the bumpscosity. I don't think it does anything. I can't change this. I noticed that. Yeah. Reticle type. I can't change it. So that kind of sucks. Select. Apply. Toggle. Switch panel. Yeah. I'm pressing all the buttons. Does that nothing. I can't change it. Suicide? That's in the
And
game?
about
Oh,
how
right.
roundly disappointing this Ultra Deluxe version has
Yeah, I
turned out
remember
to
that
be.
one.
The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this Ultra Deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step
Whoa.
even further. Which is why
I forgot
I'm
about
very
this.
proud to announce for the
I
first
haven't played
time
this in, I
ever,
think, 2
the Stanley Parable
days.
2.
Ah! Okay, yeah, I've already seen this. If you came in from
Yes,
last
you
stream,
see, isn't this far
I've already
superior
been
to a
through this
measly
before.
port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience,
I know
built from the
this.
ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize
There's a cat actively trying to get into my room.
the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a than anything.
Okay,
So
here we go.
Go on, try out
I've already been at the gym bucket. I've been over there. I've been right there. Taste the sequel. What is this? Office decorations.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one.
That's
I
kind of
think that in the
boring.
new version,
That's
the
pretty
office
cool.
could
I
use
like
a bit
these.
of
These seats look
decoration,
pretty
like
comfy.
balloons. But I'm
That
undecided
does not.
on Get
That
Well
looks sad.
Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Oh. Get well someday. Happy 12th birthday, niece. What I do know about this is that if I press this one, it won't actually choose it. It'll choose this one, and I think this is funnier. So.
You know, sometimes when you solicit
Get well
another
someday.
person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted.
I wanted this one.
Get
Yay!
well someday it is.
Get well someday. Wow. Why are the...
Maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
They changed places. What's over here?
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down.
Hole.
That's right.
Infinite hole.
You can fall until
I'm looking around.
of time,
okay.
like.
How about the other side?
As a medium.
No. Okay.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
No.
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever.
The top is getting smaller, which means that it's not actually infinite. Because without regenerating like a simple path of a hole, it's not really infinite, or can never be infinite. Yeah, see?
Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest.
From management to everyone.
I truly did not believe that
meeting at 2 p.m. Sincerely, management. That's funny.
Yes, I know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who
never forget.
Wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more...
Dude!
In my opinion, maybe it's you who likes falling too...
I can't believe this game! It knows!
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we
How's
both
about my
said
video?
things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite?
Why so many
If that
cigarettes?
works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole. Oh, for heaven! You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see
Look at this
all, but
hole.
not you. Oh,
It's not
no,
infinite.
No. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before.
did.
I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. I really do have so much more to show you and to talk about, and I've had enough of the hole for a lifetime. Gosh, could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this stunk...
Oh, wow, it's really short.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole
What
is not
accent
only
does the
non-infinite,
narrator
but that
have?
it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect
It
I'm
never
starting
was
to hit the
infinite
point
to begin
where
with,
it's no
bud.
longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is. The shame of my lie has come to haunt me. Not how is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to
Is this
judge?
the new jump circle?
You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. Still nothing? Well, I suppose...
There's nothing to teleport to. I'm already up here.
I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You
Boy.
couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it.
I should have walked out to see what he would say and then walk back
You get to be
in.
with the hole. I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity.
What? What's going on? Oh. Pretty cool hole. I like this hole. Would this happen if I stayed in a hole too long beforehand? Oh! Oh! Oh, that's pretty funny.
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley!
Hey!
You're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there.
No, bring me back! Bring me back! Bring me
Can't have that, Stanley. So this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about
No, dude, it's so good that I fell asleep in it and started having the best dream of my life about the hole. Take me back!
From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle pip.
Toodle pip? Yes! Come on. Again. Damn it!
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
I need my bucket. I remember watching Let's Plays of this game and loving the bucket.
Was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
Open the case.
You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution.
Stop talking!
Give it a try. Can you feel it?
Oh yes, I can feel it.
Even in the face
I can feel it, Mr. Krabs.
Must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well?
No, I don't think it does.
Has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
Mm-mm.
The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Mila bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Goes to you. Now, collectibles. Can you find them? Yes, I can.
Now it's a real video game. In the
yes, sir.
2,
the game just got started. And the figurine is in a wall of people. I don't understand this.
You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
You look so sad. I'm ready to collect them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game, and then they give you a big fancy... Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe. What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term
Epilogue?
franchising potential.
What is epilogue? Like over here. Epilogue.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Okay. What else? Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I got everything.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yeah. Oh.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features?
I like the
It's
bucket
not exactly clear yet
and the hole.
exactly these
The
features
bucket
will
and the
come
hole
together
are the
as one
best.
single
Wait.
coherent video game, but
There's a
I
hole in
can
the
feel it my
bucket.
soul. It's going to work. There's
Can I go
definitely a
inside?
good game in
Am
there
I
somewhere.
am I
So
able to go
let's do
inside
an
the bucket?
experiment. I'll arrange
No.
these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it
Okay.
coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Wow. That's really bad.
Well,
There's two
there's
gym
potential
buckets.
here, right? It's
I mean,
sort of...
there's two
Okay,
gym buttons.
hold on. Let me
And
do
whatever
a different
those
arrangement.
doors go to.
Okay, yes.
Two
Yes,
doors.
This is much better. I feel good about this. Here
Okay.
we go. Version 2.
This is even worse. What is this?
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of
Two
gags.
free trophy
And I do very
things.
much
A
enjoy
very tall
creating
bucket.
gags.
A
They don't
giant
add up to anything.
jump circle that is
I
the
wanted more
hole.
than anything to create a sequel that would capture all
That's
the magic
actually
of the
terrible.
first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure in the game.
What are you supposed to do with that jump circle?
Wait.
Jump and then
Maybe
fall into the
that's
hole
it.
and die?
I can
What?
take the
Oh.
original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game.
Wouldn't the computer screen give him
I
light?
suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous...
Unrealistic!
A title screen
Thumbs
set with
down on pressurized
uncompromising
gas.
conviction.
Thumbs
This
down!
is the Stanley
1
Parable
star!
2.
This sucks.
Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay. Just give me my bucket. Begin the game. This is pretty cool. Okay, what is this? Okay. Yeah. Just an infinite circling hole. Okay.
This is the...
Yeah. This is a store named Stanley, blah, 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 blah. I hate skipping it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Get well
Stanley
someday.
decided to take a meeting. Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket.
Yes, I did. I did pick up the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. His boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley,
Yes.
can you feel it?
Yes.
The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
No!
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy, it's as clear as day. This
Don't take
broom
my
closet
bucket.
believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket.
Two favorite things. And one is trying to take my one favorite thing away.
Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in.
I'm not.
Don't hand over the bucket.
I'm not gonna hand over the bucket.
Hard it must be.
Get away.
The pressure that the broom closet is
Get
putting
away.
on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
Mine! My bucket!
I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons. But
I can tell now.
Than I had imagined.
This broom closet is evil.
Now the broom
it's my bucket.
Has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep.
Should have just got out of the closet like you said.
That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient. That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner. Well, I'd never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
I'm never giving you the bucket! You lost!
Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings.
Bucket.
As they have changed and evolved over the years.
This bucket was there with me forever! It's always been there! He was my best friend back in elementary. And he will always be my best friend!
Okay. I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
What is it?
There. Now
that's not my name.
No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, broom closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about
any more stickers?
Cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things.
How do you manage to get a sticker on inside like the cracks by slapping it on?
All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well
because
the
devil.
I think it's appropriate. You see, I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket.
Yeah, that's genius.
That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not, you can look down at this sticker and say to yourself, "Ah, it's a bucket."
What counts as a bucket?
There really is a wide variety.
Is this a bucket?
For this sticker.
Would this be a bucket? Yeah. Any more stickers?
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh yeah, this area. Give me that.
One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I've always known that there was one in here.
Another miniature Stanley.
Yeah!
This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about...
Stannuable. Like collectible and Stanley. Stannuable.
What about
Stannuable?
Stanlerines? Yes,
no, that sucks.
Like that.
It's like collectible, but Stanley. Stannuable.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again
what is it?
To discover
2, 8, 4, 5.
Crushed by, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Yep. The bucket is guiding me.
This is certainly the most logical.
I love you, Bucket. You're my best friend.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Okay. See if I can find
The
any more.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Yeah.
Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring
Love you,
in this
bucket.
darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Yep. It will.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Did I miss something?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
My
Stanley
bucket!
lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave
I'm gonna
of
go
joy
right this
rushed
time.
over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No, it isn't!
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler anlarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler anlarines. None of us can.
Okay.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching.
I didn't know that would happen. Will it just start over? Yeah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top.
I think it's over
There's
there.
something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point.
No!
Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what
I
is
think I got this.
or is not a bucket.
Pretty sure
Okay,
I
let's
got
begin.
this. Yeah, that's a bucket.
Is
That's a
this
bucket.
a bucket?
Yep, that's a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What? Heh, must be pretty real then.
Item
Yep, that's a bucket.
is
Yep,
this
that's a bucket. That's a bucket.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Still a bucket.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yeah, that's a bucket.
Correct. This is a
I knew
bucket.
it. I knew it.
Item 4.
That is the
Is this a
biggest bucket I've ever seen. Look, it's got the hole on the top. It's a bucket.
Are you hallucinating?
Huh?
This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely
The hole on the top.
Let's just move on to the next one.
See that glass? It's concealed. Anything that's concealed, that I can put water in it. Oh, yep. That's a bucket. That is such a bucket.
Correct. This is a bucket.
See? Dude. What did I tell you?
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yeah, that's a bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here.
Now I can clearly see the bucket. Can you guys see it? It's right there.
When we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Yes.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets.
No!
Okay,
No! No! Please, please, please.
What happened? Is everything gone?
Everything was a bucket.
Wait, was everything a bucket?
Everything is a bucket.
The game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
That's not good.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know
Fine,
that
I'll
it's
go
all
past the
a
bucket.
But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention
No,
that.
no, I'm picking up the bucket. Next time I won't pick up the bucket.
All right,
This time
here
I
we go.
am. I'm picking up the bucket. One more thing to go to.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Which way was it? Yes, it was this way. Okay. This is the faster way, but still. Blah, 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 blah. Bottom text. going to the
Coming to a
broom
staircase,
closet again.
Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to
Yes,
the boss's
this way.
office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something
bucket.
occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me!
I'm coming! I'm coming!
He rushed forward from room to room.
Bucket,
passing
bucket,
by
bucket,
one
bucket.
bucket
These aren't my bucket!
None of them were his.
These aren't my
None of them were his
buckets.
special
This is where's my bucket? It has the stickers.
Find me!
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then
Wait.
suddenly...
If that last bucket wasn't my bucket, then why did it have the stickers on it that said that it was my bucket? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Did someone put on stickers? Did someone put on the exact same stickers in the exact same place? I could kill myself.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
What? Dude. Huh? Dude. That's crazy. Seeing like
and perhaps rain started,
someone
and
backflip
it
all the way to work.
Stanley
Sorry.
hoped that he would one day see weather.
Sorry, bucket. What I need.
When
I
Stanley came to a
need
set of
my
two
Stannuble.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
No.
that convinced that I want something
But my bucket.
bad to happen to you?
I need my bucket.
I don't know
But
how to
apparently,
convince you of this, but I really
this
do
game
want to
doesn't want my
help you,
bucket
to
to
show
be
you
here.
something beautiful. Look,
Come
let me
here.
prove it. Let me prove. And there it is. The
Stiggly
last
Wiggly.
Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment.
It is.
This is doing something
But it's
just
not
for
the same
the
without my
sake of
bucket.
doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's
I love the
done.
bathroom
We're
one.
all done
There's
here.
I
And now
love
we
the
can go to
bathroom
whatever the hell you
figure.
were
It's
doing
so good.
before you hunted for figurines. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Let's see what happens if I go through the red door, actually.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Okay, what is this?
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes.
What the?
Oh, it's beautiful.
How did I never
If we just stay
figure?
right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy.
I'll wait to
I
see what he
actually
says.
feel happy. No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. No.
Kill myself. I said that earlier.
Stanley, please.
I don't have my
asking you not
bucket.
to
Now I'm
take
gonna
this
kill
from me.
myself.
I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that, my God? Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You were literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Yep.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore.
What happens if I go back?
But I guess that was... Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
Green and red.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I still thought that was possible.
Okay, now I'm gonna kill myself. Geronimo!
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Yep. Now I can have my bucket.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers.
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one.
Ew!
Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
Oh.
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Okay. What the? What? What is going on? That was pretty weird. Okay. Ugh. Skibbity zone.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
What if I
We
just
were
don't
so
grab it?
innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Alright, fine. No! Crap, I didn't grab it.
And here was a second Stanlerine. Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a
Okay.
pause on things.
I can just restart it again.
Those figures. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love
Sure,
nothing more than to
sure,
revisit the
sure. I won't skip
figurines.
it this time.
Just one more time.
Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Wow.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
8? Oh.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
How do I get out? Oh.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these
Bathroom!
rooms was the
It's the
room
bathroom.
you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
Bathroom. Bathroom. What happens if I go to the boss's office, though?
No. Behind the boss's office was the fourth place you found a Figanli, not the third. Well, I guess perhaps I shouldn't be surprised. Memories like these are so precious and so cherished.
Yeah, but it was
they
my
all
third.
just sort of blend together, don't they? You know what? If the boss's office feels like the third place you found a collectible, then who
It
am I
was the
to be
third
making
place, though.
judgments?
Okay.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No, this did not happen.
This was a...
No. Okay, now I'm going to go back over to the bathroom. Because something went
Stanley, I'm
wrong.
sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's
We
those
completely
photographs.
skipped the bathroom.
Those
I don't know if
photos.
there'll be a
I haven't stopped thinking about them
Stanley
since you nabbed
there
every last
anymore.
one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Yeah.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time. Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen.
It's not
but
there.
How could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Okay. It's not there.
And here was a second Stanlerine. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third?
I'm gonna try this one because there wasn't a pink apple.
Hey, that's
Yeah!
It was here in the boss's bathroom. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Oh.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say.
Okay, I thought it would be something different.
Memory zone, so it must have happened. This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Okay. Okay. Yeah! What's that back there? Ooh, I can, ooh, look at him over there!
takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes,
World's best coworker.
that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
Okay.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen.
What?
Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines?
We're in the present.
Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
It's just you're in the present right now. Crap. Oh, I guess, yeah.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Yeah! Ooh! Ooh!
Yeah.
Ah. Oh yeah, I love that video.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted
Stream
the intrinsic desire of
bathrooms.
collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Okay. Okay, not gonna give me that, but okay.
This was our second Figly. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too.
It was my first.
The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurine.
19!
Oh, more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
A jump circle.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Why is it turning purple and green?
Oh, yes. The two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley. All of his co-workers were gone. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be a... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
No, it wasn't!
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift.
I've
yes,
never been up
good,
here.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about...
Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke. Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket. Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it, but there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, in all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now.
I'm Dunny with the funny.
Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian. An effective survey should be no less than 10 pages long and should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled over in laughter in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence, and who very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated, isn't it? Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
I'm just gonna take the same path. Oh.
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail it.
Let me off!
You'll be in stitches.
What are you doing?
A talking bucket, you'll say. How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank goodness we have the instructional video. Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now. Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
Just gonna take the same route.
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
No.
What? We're back at the phone already? No, what's going on? There were supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake. I've made a fool of myself. I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke-telling whelp. I think I need to go back and rewatch that instructional video again. Yes, surely that will help me improve my... Here we go. You ready?
Okay.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left.
Again?
What? We're back at the phone already? No. Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No.
I think it wants me to take the left door.
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors,
Fine.
they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all
Where's my sticker?
Clearly. There's no
Where's
way
my
I
bucket
can make
sticker?
the comedic timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed at every one of our meetings from now on. All because you couldn't watch a simple video and take a hint. Are you proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you... it's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale in comparison. Yes. Let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are. No? Still not? Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame? Pale... What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so metal. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
What a stupid ending.
God, the bumpscosity in here is absolutely overwhelming. 1,000? You people have got to be nuts. How can you stand this much bumpscosity? Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that the good old bucket? Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling.
I'm gonna pick up the
telling
phone.
him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Oh.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal. It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, what's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place.
I'm gonna get crushed.
And here it was.
Now.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Okay, I've done all the things over there.
On his left to go back, and so the two
Now.
of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
The bucket tells me to do terrible things.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes. It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No!
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this.
None.
Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want.
Never! Get that little shit off my screen.
Prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Now, what if I actually destroyed the bucket?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had...
Sorry, Bucket, but I had to destroy you!
Telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just...
Why is it brown?
We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet.
I don't remember this table.
Fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but
pretty sure everybody likes the bucket.
Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me, it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No.
Destroyer does. Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows.
You can't destroy it. Okay. Quit the menu.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hold on, wait. I need to do something really quick. Okay. Right now, I'm going to see what happens if I put my date and time to 10 years in the future. I'm gonna end the stream and then come back whenever I'm able to get the free trophy. So bye. Wait, oh, I just took a picture on accident.